Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeren İskit, and you are watching What's New, What's News. I know it's been a long time. I had a very long break, but I had some health issues, so I had to deal with. So that's why now we are ready, and this is now New Year's to 2025, and it's a good fresh start now. And the first topic is, of course, now. Something huge is happening in the Middle East, and we will talk about Syria, the new regime there now. Assad is out, and now Colani is in. And my colleague, my dear colleague Nimet Kıraç, was there actually at the beginning of the new administration. Let me invite her, and then we will start speaking. Welcome, Nimet. How are you?
Hi, Jeren. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm quite. I had quite challenging half year of 2024, but we have a new fresh start now to 2025, and I feel better now. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Started the new year in light of what's happening in Syria. And yes, everything's going okay. Just watching what's going on.
Yeah, we all following the Middle East now. I think this is the biggest development happening in the Middle East now, and you have been there at the beginning of the new, what we should say. I think new administration, maybe new. Not revolution. I don't like to say that much, but how did you go there, and what's your observation at the beginning when the Assad regime was actually collapsed?
We went there with my partner, Jannerok, who's a photojournalist. So we went there as freelance journalists. And we traveled straight to Damascus because Assad had fallen the day before. So that was the interesting place to be then. And so we were there in Damascus, and we went between Aleppo and Damascus for about 8-9 days. And it was very interesting in terms of it was the end of a dictatorship for these people, for Syrians. So from Turkey, it's a very like people are trying to read what's going on geopolitically, and it's normal. But at the same time, there's the agency of the Syrian people. They have been through a lot in the past 13 years, as the world also knows. And it was a relief for them that Assad was gone. Now, the fact that a new administration, which is a militant group that's coming in, it's a new phase, and they are not entirely sure what's awaiting them. But in this moment, they are very happy that this very dark phase has come to an end. And although the future is full of uncertainties, they feel that there is a chance for them to feel hope in this moment. With Assad there and his father before him, with the Assad dynasty, they say they didn't feel like it was ever going to end, that this was the fate of Syria, and that this was just how it was going to be. But now there's a possibility for change, and the people I've spoken with are very motivated to stay in Syria and do whatever is necessary to bring a collapsed country back on its feet, because it really is a collapsed country in terms of poverty, infrastructure. There are very major daily life issues all around Syria. And the war it's very hard to say the war has ended, because there are still clashes between the FSA and the YPG in certain points, in certain locations in Syria. And it's very uncertain what's going to happen with the YPG as a militant group in the northeast. So there are many questions up in the air. and it's not certain whether like the civil war is giving way to a new phase, but we don't know what this new phase will be.
Yes, YPG is having a huge role in especially in the North Syria, and also it is a concern under the security wise in Turkey as well. So when you see that, what will be, from your point of view, of course, what will be the new relationship with the new administration in the Syria between Syria and Turkey? You think?
So from the beginning, Turkey has been saying that Turkey has supported these groups in terms of FSA. They say FSA, the Free Syrian Army, which is different from the HTS militant group. But in this moment, they acted together, is what it seems, to topple Assad on December 8th. So Turkey has been in a very teaching position, advising position, as far as I understand, with the HTS coming up to the toppling of Assad. So from now on, as far as the foreign minister's statements goes, Turkey wants Syria to be a united country. Turkey wants Syria to be an inclusive democracy, and Turkey wants Syria to be a country that doesn't pose a threat to its neighbors. So Turkey seems to be very much on top of this phase that's unfolding right now with the HTS. And although it seems worrying in a way, because HTS is not a brand new group, it has Al Qaeda and ISIS links through its leaders and other parts of its ranks. So it has an ideological, it comes from a very radical ideological perspective to the world. And right now, Turkey wants to act as like the big brother, like the overseer of the situation of this new project of Syria. And Syria, the HTS administration has very close relationships with Turkey. And, the spy chief Ibrahim Kalın came and prayed in Damascus, and they have been in close contact. And Turkey's reopening its embassy in Damascus. It already did. So it seems that this will be a very close relationship period with the HTS, and Turkey will be the supervisor, so to say, of what's going to happen. But in a way, it's also worrying, because the US is saying, from like Trump is saying, that Turkey toppled Assad. He's making this argument, and that Turkey was behind this. But we know from past reports that it was Pentagon who armed the east of the Euphrates, and it was the CIA who helped the HTS all along, from reports from past news reports. So it wasn't only Turkey, it was a Western coalition plus Turkey that did this, that oversaw this situation. And in the future, Turkey will be in a very close contact with them.
And speaking about the HTC, actually, I would like to ask you related to our profession, actually, because everyone, when you say HTC is not the new group of people, it's linked to Al Qaeda and other groups as well, and these groups were called actually terrorist groups as well at the same time. But what happened afterwards, actually all the press, especially the Western media outlets, they started calling them as a rebels, right? And what's your point of view? Because it is a little bit, for me, it is an ethical issue as well at the same time. It's like, for me, it is like a little bit a point of view, like westernized press media related things, and it's all about the benefits of the relations, the international relations between Syria and other countries. When I consider about that, rebels doesn't sound good for me as well at the same time. What's your point of view on that?
So the language changed, and we all saw how the language changed, as you explained. There was a 10 million bounty on Jolani's head, and the US removed that decision recently. But there are still sanctions against Syria, international sanctions. And that's going to be a major challenge. So right now, I've been to Afghanistan when Taliban took over in 2021. So I see it as a similar, in some ways, not always. In some ways, it's similar how the Taliban acted, because they were a sought after group in terms of getting eliminated. But then when they took the power, they restructured their image in a way that's like, for example, I interviewed in Kabul in 2021 the press the spokesperson for the government, and he promised we will give girls their rights to education. There will be no pressure on women. Everyone will have equal rights. Don't you worry, etc. So they made all of these promises because you understand why, because they want to get international recognition, and they want to get funds from the international banks and funds, basically, and they want to do that in a quote unquote legitimized way. So they need the money to get the country going, and to be able to get the money and the international recognition, they need to abide by the international rules, which is women should have same rights as men, girls should have education, etc., etc. So the HTS is right now, they are restructuring their image. Like we saw how Jolani gave up one look, and now he's in a different look. He's wearing ties, etc. So they are trying to rebuild an image to be able to say to the world, look, we are not the people you should fear. You should remove our sanctions. You should give us the money. You should accept us internationally. So it's a restructuring phase for HTS, but who can vet for HTS? I think that's a very I don't know, uncertain question at this point.
Yeah, because everyone is concerning the same thing will happen in Syria as well, considering other examples in the past, like Afghanistan, maybe other countries as well, especially Afghanistan, because it's just, well, the process is kind of different, but in a different way, but the same consequences happened over there as well. So everyone is just concerning, and they now there's a new argument about when Jolani actually invited the international allies in Syria and didn't give a handshake to the woman as well. When you consider these kind of things, of course, everyone is concerning the same ideas. So what happened in the past and now what will happen in the Syria. What is other observations coming from you? Because you said poverty is now the huge struggle for Syrian people, and also there is the other side in Turkey as well, because people are now, some of the Syrians who flee to Turkey now, they came back to Syria as well, but the figures are not, of course, higher than expected actually. But what's your observation? Will those people really be back to Syria when it comes to this new administration, the new term of Syria, you think?
So I think a lot of people do want to go back, but that doesn't mean all of them, of course. No one can speak for all people. But I think there's a sense, like I'm speaking with migrants in Adana, where I live too,
Mhm,
and they want to go back, but they can't go back right away, is what they say. So for example, one man, like the father of the family, will go back, and then the mother and the children will go back by summer maybe. So there are, as I explained, there are many like big infrastructure problems, such as they don't have, like, they only get electricity for a few hours a day in a majority of places in Syria.
mhm,
uh, there, you can't even find bottled water in eastern Aleppo, for example. So the lack of everything is very dominant in the daily life.
mhm, mhm,
So it's hard to say the war is over now. Everyone can go back, because when you like go through the M5 highway, which is the highway that connects Aleppo to Damascus from north to the south, you see that the houses around the highway, the villages, they're demolished, or there are many unfinished constructions. So
mhm,
it's there are many unfinished constructions or demolished villages or houses. So the country needs a serious rebuilding effort. And it
mhm,
can't be just done by on their own. It's very like out there open. It's the country is wrecked after 13 years of civil war. So they will need a lot of rebuilding. But also they right now I'm hearing from some Syrians I'm in touch with that the administration wasn't able to pay their pensions.
yeah,
So that's a problem. So they're like the system needs to get back on its feet basically before people are able to go back. I've spoken with an engineer woman in Aleppo, and she said he's studying, and I asked her, well, like, you haven't left through the civil war, but like, are you planning on staying after your school? And she said, I don't know, because I won't be able to find a job here. So like, yes, people can go back, but can they see a future in Syria?
mhm,
That's still a big question, and
mhm,
maybe it's even early to ask, because seriously the country is wrecked at this moment. So it needs to come back to its minimal daily life level first before coming to the future question, I think.
mhm, mhm. And you have been in Aleppo, you have been in Damascus. Is there any other villages, or any other cities that you get a chance to visit while you were there? Because there are some allegations, like saying that not only HTC but the other groups are attacking some religious other attacking some villages who are Christian, or who are Alevi, like Muslim, but other kind of group of people. And there is a huge disinformation now at the moment happening, especially in the social media. As my colleague Hediye Levent is over there for about 2 weeks now, and she's warning everyone, that saying that, do not believe all the videos that you have seen. There are a lot of disinformation spreaded, especially in the social media. Uh, what do you see about that, actually?
So we did a story on how Alawites are feeling in this moment, because Assad and his family were Alawites from Latakia.
Mm-hmm,
And the Alawites, who are a minority in Syria, they are quite afraid that the HTS is now in power, and HTS are Sunni. So they fear that now the tables have turned, and now the pressure is going to be on us. So they're very afraid, and some are thinking of leaving of Syria, they said. But it doesn't mean that they were happy under Assad, these Alawites. Although they are Alawites and Assad is Alawite, it doesn't mean they were happy under Assad. They say we were suffering more, because when we said that we weren't happy with Assad, it made us a traitor. So we had more pressure on us than the Sunnis to stay silent about Assad under the Assad regime. But right now, the HTS is giving promises to the international community and the Syrian community, saying we will not be biased against any group. Every group will have the same right as each other in Syria. So those are the kinds of promises that they are being given. And Christians, the Christians I spoke to in Damascus and Aleppo, were taking those promises and saying we're going to watch them cautiously. So the Christians were in a mood to watch it cautiously, but the Alawites are in a bit of a tougher spot, and they fear that there could be acts of revenge coming from the HTS or other parts of the society. So the HTS is in a major test right now to show that it's going to protect everyone, including the Alawites, in this moment. So the Alawites are worried, and the HTS should be able to prove that they are sincere in their promises.
I see. Nimet, thank you very much for joining me today. Is there anything you would like to add before we close this discussion?
Thank you very much for having me here. Sorry, my dog is barking. All I can say is Syrians have been through a lot, and we know that as Turks, because we are living with millions of Syrians. It's a turning point for them, and although I am worried about what may come, I really hope that they have a brighter future. They've been through a lot.
Thank you very much, Nimet, for your observations. I'm sure we will be in touch. Are you planning to go back there again for more reports and stories?
Inshallah, yes, hopefully.
Okay. Well, that means I will invite you more when the more developments is happening in Syria and between Turkey as well. Thank you for joining me today, and have a lovely weekend. Actually.
Thank you, Ceren.
Bye bye. Well, we have been actually following these news and following closely, actually, because Turkey is very in a very major position of that. So I will definitely follow more, and we will discuss more about what will be the future of Syria and what will be the relation between Turkey and Syria. You all know that independent journalism is a little very tough to deal with, so please do not forget to subscribe my YouTube channel, and if you would like to support me, you can reach out my Patreon account as well. Have a lovely weekend. I will be back on Tuesday as usual at 8 p.m. With new discussions and new subjects, but till then, bye bye, take care, and bye bye.